The goddess of love, Venus, enters the solar sign of Leo on Thursday, July 11th, and immediately faces off with the lord of the underworld, Pluto. It is a bumpy beginning to Venusian time in the sun. We may have to discover secrets, address shadows within ourselves and in our relationships, and transform some outdated patterns. Let's take a look at Venus in Leo and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal relationship and predictive readings. If you enjoy my content and like my work, please take a few seconds of your time to show your support by leaving a like or a comment, subscribing, and pressing the notification bell. Watch one of my videos or say thank you by buying me a coffee, a tea, a croissant. Anything you do to support my work, even if that includes sending happy thoughts and believing in me, makes a world of a difference. Thank you for being here. Before we dive in, a couple of announcements. If you're looking for answers, you're craving astrological guidance, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, offer insights into your natal chart, into your relationship, or do a predictive reading and talk about your year to come. On my website, you can also find a variety of creations, candles, and oils that I make to capture the more powerful astrological moments. I started creating them to help myself because I am born with Venus in the sign of its fall. So I decided to share it with you guys and bring sort of support your way too. In this video, I'd like to highlight my Venus in Libra 2 candle, which is perfect since Venus in Leo will be a bit turbulent. Venus will be opposing Pluto, squaring Uranus. You might enjoy a more chill, more relaxed Venus in the sign of rulership, which is Venus in Libra 2 represents. It is perfect for anyone born with Venus in the sign of fall or detriment, which is Virgo, Scorpio, or Aries. If your Venus is in the dark house, 6th, 8th, or 12th, if it's in opposition, square, or even conjunction to Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto. And if you feel like in general you could use more inspiration, more harmony and ease in your relationships, this is the choice for you. So let's talk about Venus in Leo. Venus enters Leo on July 11th. It stays until August 4th. And Venus is the planet of attraction, love, desire. Whenever she travels through a zodiac sign, our desires get colored by the nature of that zodiac sign. Venus rules Taurus and Libra, but she's a guest in the other signs, right? So when Venus goes into the sign of Leo, she's a guest in the royal palace because Leo is the sign ruled by the sun. It's the temple of the sun. So you put the goddess of love in the temple of the sun and she starts to appreciate being visible and being recognized. She wants to be playful and she's a bit more humorous and creative and very much sort of passionate, right? So if you're born with this placement, happy Venus return. Let me know down below if this is you, if this describes you. But you know, when Venus is in Leo, we want visibility. We are more willing to put ourselves on social media, to take selfies, to play with our wardrobe, to show ourselves to the world. It's funny because like Mother Teresa had Venus in Leo, and clearly, you know, she was a noble monk and sort of like humble monk, but she was the monk in the limelight. Madonna has Venus in Leo, and Madonna, I think, like very much an example of like being in the spotlight, being known for who she was, her style, her music, everything like that. And so with Venus and Leo, we definitely crave attention. We may start speaking more in a meeting at work. We may start posting more selfies, like I mentioned. We may start making more videos with us as the star. Venus in Leo tends to be, people with strong Leo placements in general, they tend to have like a very luscious head of hair. So you may notice that you are more interested in getting your hair done. Maybe you're more willing to put your hair like down versus put it up in a bun, which is what I'm doing right now with Venus still in Cancer. But your hair, your look, your style, everything you're going for is more attention grabbing. You're very much ready to grab attention and be visible. You're likely to be more generous. Venus in Leo. Leo in general is the sign of sort of the lion that looks after its domain. So you're likely to give more gifts, potentially receive more gifts, especially if you are a Leo rising or Cancer rising or Capricorn rising, because Venus will be traveling through your houses of identity and resources. So she can help bring some good stuff your way. We're good at giving compliments. We crave compliments, right? We crave attention. And it's actually a good time to seek attention by, of course, putting your best foot forward, right? Like if you are craving attention, you might come up with an ingenious idea and entertain people and then gain from it, right? Because you're thinking of like getting attention, but you're also doing that with other people in mind. Maybe you're looking to inspire people, or you're looking to lift up the sort of remove the tension in a situation, in a conversation. As always, every placement has some struggles, right? So with Venus in Leo, we may struggle with issues related to Leo, related to the sun. Like getting frustrated if you don't get enough attention, or if attention gets taken away from you. You're going to be ready to share it, right? Because we're all getting it collectively, and it's important to share your time in the spotlight. You may notice that you're a little bit more proud at this time, a little bit more unyielding and kind of my way or the highway, right? And you got to watch out for that in relationships too. You got to watch out for the tendency to be uncompromising. And funny enough, right off the bat, Venus opposes Pluto. The exact opposition is on July 12th, but we feel it between 11th and 14th, even possibly a couple of days before that. And this is similar to July 2nd, 3rd, when Mercury opposed Pluto. If you've encountered any drama, any power struggles, any tensions, discovered any secrets, noticed that you were obsessively thinking about something, all of this will be coming back for round 2. And then again on July 23rd, when the Sun opposes Pluto, it's like a 3-part story in July. So with Venus opposite Pluto, you're likely to feel pressures in your relationships, whether because you're feeling threatened or suspicious or jealous or obsessive, or your partner is feeling it. You may discover some secrets. You may discover information that is challenging and then figure out a way how to move through it. Because Venus in Leo is such a solar energy, and it's very ego-driven, it's very recognition-driven. If you don't get enough recognition, or if you feel like someone doesn't appreciate you, you're more likely to roar. You're more likely to scream and express yourself. It's a very interesting energy, because we're looking at the energy of Leo, which is sort of the heart, right? Like the bright, the solar, the me type energy, versus Pluto and Aquarius, which is the collective, and it's about the good of all. So tensions in terms of like personal goals and the collective goals might surface at this time as well. Romantically, watch out for sort of transgression in relationships, for falling in love with people that are not good for you. Very Plutonian archetypes, right? Seem exciting in the moment, but then later on you find out that they're doing something illegal for their job, or they're lying to their spouse, or they're married to begin with. And yeah, like watch out for sort of the shadow side of this energy, trying to be manipulative, trying to maybe control the situation, leading with the sense of an ego, and instead try to be more open and honest and vulnerable, right, if something is frustrating. On July 21st, Venus will sextile Jupiter, which is more exciting, can bring good luck, benefits, support, possibly some kind of resolution of the previous struggles. On August 2nd, Venus will square Uranus, which I think after you've dealt with some shadows and then seen the light, you figure out a way how to move forward, how to innovate, how to do things in a brand new way. So let's talk about the 12 rising signs to be more specific and describe what this might be bringing your way. As always, if you're looking for an exact reading that matches your chart, you want to understand yourself better, you're curious to know what's coming up in the year to come, or what's happening in your relationship, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. There's a variety of options, lengths, and something that would work for you. So if you are an Aries rising, Venus is entering your 5th house. You are stepping into the period of having more fun. You desire to go out, you desire to date, you desire to have fun, to have a good time, right? To explore your passions, explore your interests. Venus is in her joy in the 5th house. So between July 11th, August 4th, you're more likely to attract someone in your life if you're single. If you're in a relationship, you may enjoy more dates, more passionate nights, more sort of pleasure. You're more playful. You enjoy spending time with children. However, Venus in your 5th house will immediately oppose Pluto in the 11th, which suggests that you're more likely to run into issues between your personal desire and the collective responsibility, right? Like Venus in the 5th house is a lot more about me, my fun, my kids, my sort of desires, versus Pluto in the 11th suggests that maybe it's a friend that is creating some drama. Maybe it's a friend that is being controlling or possessive or demanding, and you need to figure out some dynamic with friendships. Maybe it's your personal kind of goals for the future, or even how much importance you place on the appreciation coming from other people. So some type of tension between like self and others is quite likely in this situation. So you may need to navigate drama with friends. You may not have to, like, it can also be like literally with Venus in the 5th house, you like fall in love with someone and you discover that they used to date your best friend and your best friend is not over them, and how do you deal with that? Or you plan to go on a trip and some of your friends want to do one thing, you want another. How do you navigate that, right? Like, how do you maintain your integrity while making sure everyone gets the best end of the deal? And Venus will be sextiling Jupiter in your 3rd house later in the month, so I think communication and compromise and talking things over can be actually a great support at this time. As always, if you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Next, we have Taurus rising. If you are a Taurus rising, Venus is entering your 4th house, which is in general quite lovely for family relationships. You desire more time with people you love. You desire to spend more time at home. You're maybe shifting your love life into your house, right? You've been going on dates. Now you decide to invite your new crush over and sort of have a beautiful time at home. You tend to be more sentimental, nostalgic, maybe more interested in beautifying your home or connecting with family. The fact that Venus entering your 4th house opposes Pluto in the 10th suggests that there is some tension right now. Like immediately there is tension between your desire for being at home, your connection with your family, your ability to maybe get recognition from the family or have fun with the family, and your professional life. Pluto in the 10th can show up as an obsessive controlling boss, or a crisis at work that is taking you away from housewarming party you planned, or from a date. So when things go wrong, right? Like, how do you handle it? How do you handle stress caused by your job, or stress caused by like outside demands on your time? The negative version could be freaking out, screaming, yelling, losing your cool, trying to maybe, manipulate your boss into giving you a better situation. Instead, try to be honest, right? Like, try to be honest, try to explain things as they are, and maybe watch for ways to transform the more difficult emotions into a more like positive emotions. Venus does rule your 1st house of identity and your 6th house of work, health, schedule, problem solving. So Pluto in the 10th house as like a boss or authority figure, or even your job in general, can feel like it's affecting your well-being. So if you have been working too much, and if you have been struggling, maybe it's time to make some changes and some adjustments. Let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com. Also with, real quick, but with Jupiter in your 2nd house, sextiling Venus, perhaps the answer lies in brainstorming and coming up with new ways of making money or new ways of validating yourself and being sort of more free. If you are a Gemini rising, Venus is entering your third house, suggesting that your social life or your involvement with siblings, neighbors, your local community is getting more exciting. There's more places to go. You're hanging out with siblings. You're going to maybe you're exploring the bar scene in your neighborhood and you feel kind of cheerful, friendly, and you're enjoying potentially too more attention, more text messages, more opportunities to hang out with other people. Your mind is very creative at this time. Venus in the third house can very much inspire you to write, to blog, to sort of do skits and things like that, to film yourself. And Venus in the third house can also suggest that there may be even romantic possibilities while you're out and about, exploring things with your siblings, enjoying your neighborhood, or doing things that involve your skills, hobbies, and interests, because that's what the third house is. Immediately between July 11th and July 14th, approximately, Venus in your third house will oppose Pluto in the ninth. So there is a possibility of ideological tensions from small things, right? You disagree about what kind of club to go to big ones. You realize that like someone in your family has a very different view on politics or global events or something else that very much rubs you the wrong way, and you get into this big debate, big sort of drama. There might be some issues around education, around travel, some power struggles with your teachers, disagreements with your teachers that you need to navigate with more care. There are also potentially, problems around like visas and legal sort of situations, something that is potentially taking you out of being present, being in the moment. Maybe it's a thing that you really need to handle, like, sometimes you can't enjoy going out until you apply for a grant that is really important for you. So try to be patient. And if you are, if you do encounter someone who has these like very strong opinions or who tries to dominate you and what you're thinking, like if you have a teacher who's being too controlling, perhaps this is an opportunity for you to figure out how to navigate things with more patience, more calmness, more cool. Let me know how this resonates, and if you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Now, if you are the beautiful Cancer rising, Venus is entering your second house of money and values. And between July 11th and August 4th, you're likely to look for ways to make money through creative pursuits, through maybe doing sort of work that involves fashion, that involves beauty, that involves sales. You're more likely to spend more and potentially spend on those things too, on buying gifts for other people, spending on fashion, spending on beauty. You may also be receiving more gifts, right? It's quite likely that not only you're spending, but you're also getting. There's like a better flow of resources. Off the bat, we have Venus in the second house opposing Pluto in the 8th, which can suggest that your freedom gets somehow restricted by what your partner thinks, or by debts you have, or by the lack of resources. So it's very much your money versus partner's money, partner's resources. An example would be you want to spend on a trip, but your partner doesn't agree with that. Instead, they want to save to buy a house or something. They don't want to be spending on sort of leisurely things, but you feel like you need a trip because it will take a long time to save for a house and you want to live while you're saving. So conflicts, struggles, dramas, or you find out that your partner has spent a bunch of money. Maybe they have a gambling problem, or they spend a bunch of money on like a gamer set or something, and so you may have to deal with these kind of shadows around values, around finances, disagreements, and things like that. And so look for ways to find, sort of figure out ways to compromise and agree more than disagree. Let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are a Leo rising, Venus is entering your first house, which is exciting and beautiful and fun. This is the time of year when you are at your most beautiful, most glamorous, most noticeable. Venus in the first house is very embodied, and even though you only get her for the period from July 11th until August 4th, she's still there, right? So she can help you present ideas with more confidence and charm and grace. She can help you manifest relationships you seek. She's likely to make you more creative, whether you're pairing things up in your wardrobe or you are putting out more videos. Anything is possible here. However, between July 11th and 14th, Venus will be opposing Pluto in your 7th house. So there is some kind of tension between you and your pride and your urge for recognition, and even potentially your desire to have fun, versus what's happening in your relationship. If you're single, it could be a friendship, a relationship with a family member, your sort of stand-in spouse, partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other. Maybe your partner, your friend, your mother, whoever is going through a difficult time. Maybe they disagree with your desire to do things. Maybe somehow your desire to have fun and enjoy yourself is affecting them. So tensions in relationships are very likely drama, some kind of conflicts, power struggles. I would urge you that you talk things through, that you stay honest, that you stay sort of calm as much as possible. Venus and Pluto both are, even though far by degrees, but they're looking by sign, they're looking at Jupiter in your 11th house. So you may even find that having some kind of common goal with your significant other, or asking a friend for advice, maybe some wise old friend, could potentially help you navigate the more difficult situations in your relationships. And for some, it might also be, your personal agenda versus your business partner's agenda, or your life versus your partner going through a very hard time and saying that they need you, but you had plans to do something for yourself. It's not like a very easy way to solve things, but you can still move through them as best you can without resorting to manipulating or, guilt tripping or things like that. Let me know how this resonates. Have you noticed anything similar on July 3rd when we had Mercury opposing Pluto? And if you're curious for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. If you are a Virgo rising, Venus is entering your 12th house and going into a more quiet, private, hibernation state. This could suggest that maybe you're dating, but maybe you're dating someone in private without being seen out and about. Maybe you're inviting them over to your place, or you're just starting to explore a relationship without telling anyone about it. Watch out for the more shadowy side of Venus in the 12th house, and that is going for someone who's unavailable or someone who's toxic and not good for you. Venus in the 12th could be a beautiful time where you're inspired to work on a project in solitude. Maybe you're taking the next 3 weeks to work on something, to shape things up, to experiment, to play around, but you're not announcing it to the world yet. You may feel inspired to learn more about spirituality, maybe through astrology, maybe through meditation, explore these sort of spiritual ways of living. And another thing Venus in the 12th house can manifest is a desire to get away, desire to take a break, desire to rest, whether with your partner or alone. Maybe just do things that kind of give you a break a little bit. However, it's not all easy. Venus does oppose Pluto between July 11th, 14th. And Pluto is in the 6th house, and Pluto in the 6th can suggest that there is something happening at work. Pluto in the 6th can be a colleague who is undermining you or trying to manipulate you. Maybe they want you to take their shift and they're not approaching things in the most honest way, right? Maybe there is just a sense of like overload at work that is frustrating you. Maybe there's a physical health situation, either the one you're dealing with or something coming from people in your life that is also demanding attention, like a grandparent gets sick and you're the only one who can take care of them. So some kind of crisis may arise in the realm of like problem solving, everyday work, health and service that almost like drags you out of your quiet cave of love, your happy place, and you have to deal with it. So of course, try to be patient, and you never know, something good may come out of it professionally. Like you might get inspired for the next project you'll be working on, because Venus will sextile Jupiter in your 10th house in a few days after that. Let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are the lovely Libra rising, Venus is entering your 11th house, and between July 11th, August 4th, she will be in your social sector, which suggests more places to go, more people to see, more invitations, more weddings, parties, birthdays that you're going to. You're very focused on seeing friends. You're maybe meeting people who are Leo-like, big, bold, noticeable, and a lot of your focus is kind of on getting along with others. This is a beautiful few weeks for expressing yourself on social media. You feel more confident, you feel ready to put your face in front of other people, so a lovely time to create content, to share ideas, to work with other people. However, Venus will oppose Pluto in your 5th house between July 11th and 14th, suggesting some kind of tension between your desire for recognition, your desire to get along and to connect with other people, and your personal preferences. So you may run into some kind of challenge where like your friends want to do one thing but you would rather not, or you're working on a creative project and you're trying to harmonize things but you feel like maybe you're being taken advantage of, or somehow your time with your friends and your social pursuits is taking you away from your children or from your significant other. And it may be, it may be sort of small, but it may really be frustrating. So having to balance these like social dynamics, having to figure out how you please yourself while pleasing others and not just focus on sort of pleasing others and belonging with others might be a big question here. I do like that later in the month, Venus will sextile Jupiter in the 9th, which could suggest that some kind of perspective shift is in order. Some type of, like opening yourself up to a new belief, a new philosophical system, a new sort of way of being in the world might come out of this. And yeah, make sure you're not sacrificing yourself. Make sure, you don't have kind of big blowouts with your friends around this time. Just try to keep it even, but of course if something is not right, don't just be quiet. Let me know how this resonates. Have you noticed anything happening on July 3rd when Mercury made the same aspect? It could have been like the hints of something happening. And if you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your chart, talk about your year to come, your relationship, and more. If you are a Scorpio rising, Venus is entering your 10th house. And for the next 3 weeks, you will have the beautiful, accommodating, charming energy in your professional sector. It might suggest that you are taking on new projects. Maybe you're exploring new avenues of creative work. Maybe you're exploring how to have more fun at work. Maybe you're going out with colleagues more, or just getting kind of like in good graces with your bosses. And it's actually a good period in general, besides the Venus-Pluto opposition, but it is a good period to ask other people for help, to present your work, to present your case. Let's say you're looking for a raise, you're looking for promotion. You may feel more inspired. You're likely to feel more driven to be in the spotlight, to be visible, to be kind of noticed. And it's a great time to use that energy to actually do some kind of self-promotion, right? Maybe you've been building a website and it's a good 3 weeks to put it in front of other people, or reach out to people and ask them to collaborate with you, to mention it to their audience potentially. Venus will be opposing Pluto in the 4th between July 11th and 14th, which suggests tension and some kind of drama coming from your house of home, family, and living situation. So could it be that you're so focused on your professional life you forget about something that's going on at home? Or that there is some kind of drama at home that is taking you out of pursuing your goals and maybe makes things a little bit more complicated for you? It could be your family, it could be your partner's family, any sort of family tensions, family difficulty. It could be that a pipe bursts in your house and you had an important presentation, and so now you're faced with this decision. Do you go fix the piping or deal with this, or do you sort of postpone? There might be a difficult family member, maybe someone who has like a really strong opinion about your future, about your career, and they're forcing you to go a certain way and you don't agree with them. As always, Pluto wants you to transform. It wants you to face shadows in your own desires, right? Another way this could manifest is you realize why you have been so professionally driven. Maybe it's because you wanted to get the approval of your father, and around this time your father says that they don't approve of you anyways, and it just like everything bubbles up and bursts into the open. So try to stay patient. There is a sextile to Jupiter in the 8th house later in the month, which could suggest that there is some kind of healing coming through, maybe money even coming through, some kind of inheritance, some type of support from family maybe. So it's not all bad. Let me know how this resonates, and if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are a Sagittarius rising, Venus is entering your 9th house. So Venus in the 9th house is the time you crave knowledge, you crave expansion, you crave adventure, right? You want to travel, maybe travel to see your significant other if you're in a long distance relationship, maybe go on a trip with your significant other. You want adventure, even if that means going to a brand new grocery store or trying brand new food. You will enjoy learning. You will enjoy exploring sort of spiritual topics, maybe learning about things that are pleasurable, your hobbies, like taking a pottery class or a cooking class or a sex education class, right? Like Venus in the 9th could be very much like, let's open a book about different positions and let's try it out. Romantically, meeting a foreigner, meeting a teacher, getting sort of interested in a teacher or a classmate is a possibility here. And maybe meeting someone while you're traveling as well, if you have any trips coming up. It's not all easy. Venus will oppose Pluto in your 3rd house between July 11th and 14th, which somehow pins your desire for like growth and expansion with the immediate concerns. Maybe you have this trip planned out, but Pluto in the 3rd house brings some kind of drama with a sibling, right? Like your sibling calls you up and says you cannot go because I'm not going to watch your child, or you cannot go because I need you. And like, someone sort of like trying to control you or manipulate you, or even some kind of like your car breaks down and you have like a little sort of difficult episode. But I can definitely see this as like power struggles with siblings, power struggles with neighbors, issues around travel, issues around logistics and schedule, maybe feeling like someone is taking advantage of you or overworking you and not letting you spread your wings and fly. There is a harmonious sextile to Jupiter in the 7th house, so I think leaning onto your friendships and relationships and asking for help could actually be very supportive right now. And even maybe you're dealing with this, but you have good people around you. You have people who can offer advice, or, you know, if you have to cancel a trip, your partner understands and ends up buying you another ticket. So it will work out, just you have to make sure that you deal with frustration in a healthy way. Let me know how this resonates. Have you noticed anything similar coming up around July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, when Mercury was opposing Pluto? Because this is technically a continuation of that. And if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can look at your natal chart, your year to come, your relationship, or anything else you feel like I can help you with. Moving on to the beautiful Capricorn rising, Venus is entering your 8th house. Venus in the 8th between July 11th and August 4th is the time of strong focus on other people. Venus in the 8th can suggest that you're partnering up with other people, that you're exploring joining finances, joining resources, joining knowledge with somebody else. Venus in the 8th is a beautiful time for some kind of like creative collaboration, right? Some type of like even being inspired, to be honest. Like if you are in a creative profession or any other profession, if you felt like you're in a slump or you're stuck, you might enjoy looking at what other people are doing. Maybe browsing other people's sort of art, or reading their books. You might very much get kind of benefits through connecting with other people. Venus in the 8th could be a good time with, like, you know, any debts being forgiven, or other people offering their money to you, maybe giving you a loan, giving you a mortgage, a scholarship, if that's something you've been applying for. Your partner's finances might improve. They might receive like a little bonus or an inheritance or something, and then you're benefiting through your partner's gifts. Immediately between July 11th and 14th, we have Venus opposing Pluto, and Pluto is in the 2nd house, and Pluto can bring up any fears around money. Like if you have some kind of insecurity, let's say you're getting an opportunity to collaborate with someone else, but it requires making an investment and you feel fearful and not ready to kind of maybe take a risk financially. So it may be bringing up any insecurities, a sense of lack mentality. There might also be quite literal tensions between your partner's desires and their values and yours, disagreements around money, maybe some power struggles around who pays for what, who's in charge of what, and some ugliness can come out, right? Like 2nd and 8th houses are both dark houses. We don't enjoy diving into these matters. Like money, we like to have it, but we don't always know how to manage it. We don't always like making it, right? Debts represented by the 8th house, it's very easy to sort of for some people it's easy to get in debt. You know, it's like very, very tough to talk about these things. So having to talk about fairness, about resources, about agreements, about like what do we owe to one another is very much represented by this. So try to be honest, try to be sensitive and kind both to yourself and the other person, and you will navigate this situation, you'll get through it. And if you're looking for more, you have important questions, you need guidance, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to help, offer insights, offer advice, anything you'd like, I'm here. If you are the lovely Aquarius rising, Venus is entering your 7th house. So the planet of love is going into your sector of relationships and partnerships. And this, in general, not off the bat because of that Pluto opposition, but in general, between July 11th and August 4th, should make your relationships easier. It should help you get along. It should help you compromise. It can also suggest that your partner is going to experience some kind of sense of abundance, or they're feeling more charming. They're feeling more aligned and happy and secure. It might be the time when you're going on more dates. It might be the time when you're starting to date. If you've been single for a while and not really dating, you may feel like joining a dating app, putting yourself out there, asking your friends around. If you have a business or you're thinking of starting a business, this is a lovely time to get kind of, to look for business partners or ask for business advice or look for clients. All of that is great. Around July 11th and 14th, Venus will oppose Pluto. So Venus in the 7th house, your desire to get along, your desire to make a relationship work, your desire to connect with other people will oppose Pluto in the 1st. Which either you are feeling a little bit off balance, maybe your partner does something that makes you feel insecure, and the desire, the tendency might be to play it cool and play it off like nothing happened while stew inside and get obsessive or frustrated. Or there might be some kind of disagreement between the direction your life is taking and the direction your relationship is going in. Some type of tension between like me and us, my goals, my shadow work, and a need for things to be nice, I think is highlighted here. So like I mentioned, we've had Mercury oppose Pluto on July 3rd. Have you noticed anything between 2nd and 4th of July? Any sort of tough conversations, any power struggles, any fears coming up in you? Because this might be part 2. And then there's part 3 on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of July. So more to come. But, be on the lookout of your own kind of darkness, of your own fears, and see how you deal when things don't go. How do you deal with things not going according to plan or not going according to your vision of what they should be? There's a sextile to Jupiter in the 5th house later in the month. So I think there is that potential of figuring things out, reaching a compromise, being able to kind of keep things light that eventually can help you solve any crisis, any problems you're having. Let me know how this resonates. Have you noticed anything in the beginning of the month? And if you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Last but not least, the beautiful Pisces rising. Venus is entering your 6th house. And this period between July 11th and August 4th should be the period when you are enjoying your work life a little bit more, your professional relationships a little bit more, and you're focusing on improving your everyday life, right? You are focusing on having joy in the things that feel mundane and boring, like cleaning your house. Maybe you put on your favorite song, or you wear your pajamas or your sweatshirt, something that makes you feel kind of more cozy, comfortable, yet royal and regal. Maybe there's opportunities to go out with colleagues and connect with people you work so you feel closer to them. If you're single, this could even be the time when you're starting to date someone you work with, or you're starting to look at them differently, getting a crush of some sort. Meeting good doctors if you're working on your health right now, connecting with people who can support you, making sort of improvements to your everyday life, like decluttering or bringing like plants to work, or even painting walls in your office or something. Like I feel like you're trying to have more joy in your work life. And work life is where a lot of focus is in July, because we have a lot of action in Leo and it's going to continue into August. However, early in this transit between July 11th and 14th, Venus in your 6th house will oppose Pluto in the 12th. And you're likely to deal with being self-defeating, with being self-destructive somehow. That is one possibility, right? Pluto in the 12th house. 12th house is the place of blind spots. It's the place of negative self-talk, bad habits, little white lies you tell yourself. So it could be the time when you realize that maybe you keep telling yourself that you're gonna start taking care of your health next week, next month, that you're gonna get things under control, that you're gonna go on a diet or something, and you keep not doing it, and things keep getting worse, right? Like your health keeps getting worse. So some type of drama involving your self-defeating habits is quite likely here. There's also, I think, tension. There's a possibility that maybe you've been procrastinating, which is quite similar to the example I gave earlier, but like maybe you've been procrastinating, or you've been kind of like avoiding something, escaping something, like a difficult conversation, a responsibility, a visit to the doctor that catches up with you and creates some kind of crisis. Like I can see Pluto in the 12th, opposite Venus in the 6th, as like the noise in your head, the sadness, the frustration, the self-doubt, just sort of taking you out of the present moment. Try to use this transit as a warning if this is the case, if this is what you're dealing with. You know, sometimes Pluto in the 12th is also your tendency to take care of other people first, or maybe something out of your control affecting your plans. It doesn't have to be like a mental health crisis, but it could be. So if it is, or whatever it is, like, you know, look for ways to address things, look for ways to transform self-defeating tendencies, pay attention to how certain thoughts or habits or patterns affect you. And do not hesitate to ask your family for help, or people you love, people you're close to, because later in the month, Venus will sextile Jupiter in your 4th house, and you do have this beautiful, lovely, caring, protective energy in your house of home family. So lean into your foundations, lean into people you trust, and ask for help, right? Like go to a therapist. Kind of do not hesitate to like ask for help if you need to. Let me know how this resonates, and if you're looking for more, you have more questions about your chart, about your year coming up, or your relationship, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. We are closing in on the middle of July. I hope everybody had lovely 4th of July. If you live in the States, you watch some fireworks. If you have, let me know. Were they beautiful? And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.